Hello, I'm Rhiannon from Kind by Design Creative. I am a crocheter from Sydney, Australia, and in this video I will be taking you along with me to a Christmas market. So the market is tomorrow, the 17th of November. It is the Camden Town Farm Christmas Market. And today I have a few last minute things to do. I've still got a bunch of crocheting I need to do. I need to tag and price every item, and I'm going to do a mock setup of my table. I know I should have done that earlier, but that's okay. I need to get a third table from Bunnings, and I also need to go to Officeworks to get a few things. So I'm going to take you along with me. I also thought I'd show you a pattern test that I finished this morning. I was chosen by Alpaca Crochet to test her Christmas frogs, and here is the little elf frog that I was chosen to test. I'm planning on making a few of these. So there's also a Santa frog and a Christmas tree frog in this pattern, and she has a second pattern for Christmas frogs. There's I think there's like a candy cane frog and a Christmas pudding frog, but I'm going to do a few of these to sell at my market, and I think they're going to do super well because look how adorable it is. As you can see, it's looking a bit chaotic right now. I've got all my cats and things there, and I made these two cute loveys. And then, yes, this is very crazy, but I will be tagging all these items today and showing you everything. And I'm going to go take a photo of one of each of these for a sign that I'm making for my mystery boxes. So I'm going to go do that now. So this is the spot where I usually take my photos. It is outside, and usually the lighting's pretty good, though it's overcast today. That's okay. I'm going to take some photos of these now, and I'm going to make up that sign for my mystery boxes. I'd show you the mystery boxes. So I just designed and printed off these stickers. I just designed them in Canva, and I am putting the little mini plushies in each box now. So, and then I just seal them up with some sticky tape, and I've got some yellow, blue, and pink ones, and I'm just going to finish that now. I've also got a sign that I am going to print off at Officeworks, and I'll show you it all when I have done that. I am back from Bunnings and Officeworks. I thought I would show you what I got. So here is the display sign for my mystery boxes. I think it looks really good, and it kind of just shows what could be in the mystery box. And I'm going to have the mystery boxes just sort of sitting around the sign. And then I also got a, where did I just put it? I got a chalk pen because I have these little, I guess they're kind of chalkboard signs. They don't feel like chalkboards, but anyways, hopefully this works. Chalkboard signs that I'm going to put in my display to say the item and the price. So for example, I've got some crochet birds, so I'll write birds and then I'll write the price on them, and I'll show you what that looks like when I have it set up. And then I also got some yellow stickers to write the price on, and then I'm going to put them on my care cards. So each item will have this little crochet care guide. This is not actually one, this is a bit off center, but anyways, we can ignore that. This is just one that was a mock-up when I was designing it. But I'm going to put the price on the yellow sticker in the hopes that it will be very visible for people for if they're looking for the price. So because often customers kind of freak out when they can't see the prices, but hopefully that makes it easier for them to find. I also got some blue tack because there's a few signs that I want to stick on things. So yes, and I got a table from Bunnings. Okay, so I just finished doing a bit of a mock setup for the market tomorrow. I'm pretty happy with how my setup is. I've got a few more things to make just to fill in gaps. but I think it is looking pretty good. There are 3 tables in total. I'll show you it all set up on the market, at the market tomorrow, because this is my lounge room and it's just a bit chaotic with kids' toys and stuff. But yes, I am going to be going and crocheting now. I'm very hot because it is very hot today and I have been working hard. But yes, very excited for tomorrow. And yeah, you will probably see me again tonight doing some crochet. And then I will be probably videoing tomorrow at the market. So we just got to where the market is going to be at Camden Town Farm. And of course, I am half an hour early and I'm actually the first person here, but that's okay. I love having extra time to prepare. And we're probably going to take some stuff out of the car soon. And then we will set up when we're allowed to set up. Hi, hello. It is a few days after my market. Today is actually Thursday and the market was on Sunday. And we're also in a different spot in my craft room because it is a bit of a mess. So I actually ordered a new desk and some storage and a new chair, and I didn't want to put everything back and then have to take it all out again when those things arrive. So we're in a different spot, but I'm going to chat to you about how the market went. And I also put up a question box on Instagram where you put in some questions you'd like me to answer about the market. So I'm going to do those as well. So a bit of info about my experience with markets. I have done a few markets before. However, my business was originally where I was selling my handmade macrame pieces. And if you don't know what macrame is, it is essentially wall hangings and homewares. And I mean, you can make so many different things with macrame, but it's made with rope, with knotting rope in a certain way. And I can show you an example of my work here. So my previous experience with markets is selling macrame, and this was my first time selling crochet, and it was just all crochet at this market. And it was also my first time selling amigurumi at a market. So I had no idea what to expect. I did a bit of research on what patterns do really well, or like what items do really well at markets, and yeah, watched a lot of YouTube videos and looked at info that other businesses were putting out about markets. But yeah, I just kind of, in the weeks leading up, I just sort of guessed what would go well at the market. And yeah, it actually went way better than I thought it would. So the days leading up to the market, I was a bit unsure if what I was doing was right. I was like, also like when I got to the market, I was like, am I even going to sell anything? I was so nervous, which is really funny because I've done markets before where I wasn't nervous at all. But it was crazy. It was such a crazy day. Pretty much in the first half an hour, I sold out of the mystery boxes. So next market, I'm definitely going to do more of those mystery boxes. And I sold out of a few other things. Like, yeah, my tables were like half empty pretty much 2 hours in, which was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to sell out before the market's even halfway through, and which is a wonderful thing to have happen to you, but it was just not something that I expected would happen. So I was a bit stressed. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't make enough. But anyways, yes, the market did really well. I made just under $800 in sales, which I am so happy about. I feel really blessed that people chose to come to my store and spend their hard-earned money on things that I made. So something that I did not anticipate happening, because I had previously done markets where I was selling macrame, and that's kind of not really directed at, it's sort of directed at women, kind of like, 20s and up, was the amount of joy that crochet plushies bring to like all ages. Like, it was so beautiful seeing people walking into my store and their like faces just immediately lit up. I was just like, I was not anticipating that, and I got really emotional because it was so special to see people getting so much joy. Like, people would walk in and they'd smile and laugh. And yeah, that was really, really beautiful, and definitely my favorite part of doing markets. I also loved people like would pick an item, and like especially the Christmas dash hound that I made. I didn't think I would sell that because it was really expensive. And when someone picked that up and came over to buy it, it was so exciting. I was like, yay, someone's going home with that special little Christmas dash hound that I made. That's definitely the highlight of the market. It was so beautiful. So yes, moving away from that little emotional bit. So the day went pretty well. It was very hot. It was 32 degrees Celsius for anyone who's in a different country. Celsius, not Fahrenheit. And it got extremely windy because a storm was coming. So we did have to pack up. I think it was about 2 hours early. And I will also say that my husband wasn't there to help me. It was just me and my 11-year-old son. So I was doing all of the heavy lifting and the putting up of the tent and everything on my own, which is such a big job. If you ask someone who does markets, they will tell you how physical outdoor markets are. And it's very funny because it's like you want to look all nice for the public, but also I've just spent like 2 hours sweating and moving boxes and heavy stuff. But anyways, I was very, very sore the next few days afterwards, and that's why it's taken me until today to film this. But aside from that, I mean, if you can get help to do a market, that's great too. Or maybe you're just a bit stronger than I am. Anyways. So yes, the market went really well. I actually made almost $800 in sales, and the market itself was a $100 fee. So I made $700 from that market, which I am extremely happy about. It was my first proper crochet market. So I am very, very happy with that. That's in Australian dollars. And yes, I thought I would answer the questions that you had for me on Instagram now, and add in any details that I think would be useful for you or interesting. So the first question I'm going to answer is a rundown of successful patterns. So this might be a little bit chaotic because I'm trying to remember what was really successful, and I will include a link for all of the patterns in my description. But I thought I'd start off with the mystery boxes. They were definitely my best seller. I think it's because they're cheap and they're fun. People love a little bit of a mystery box. But I had in my mystery boxes some mini axolotls, turtles, frogs, and whales, and I'll include photos of those here. And they did really well, and they're super fast makes. You don't want to make anything that takes longer than 20 minutes to put in those mystery boxes. Otherwise, then you are probably going to be not making your money, your worth back. But anyways, those are super quick patterns to make. Then I'm just probably going to talk about patterns not in any particular order. Sorry, I am looking at my stock that I've got there. Crochet by Jenna's patterns are fantastic. They're quick. Most of them are no sew. I absolutely adore her dragon pattern. I'm going to include a picture here. I did only sell one of the dragons, but it only took me 2 hours to make these dragons, which meant I was able to price them a little bit cheaper than what you would usually pay for a crochet dragon, and they're super cute. I also made some poppet mushrooms, which people loved. People tend to like poppet things. So if you are, I'm planning on making more poppet things for my next market. Of course, the chickens did well. They do well for everyone at every market, and people loved how chunky and cute they were. What else? Oh, the Christmas frogs that I made as a pattern test for Alpaca Patterns. Everyone loved those, and I think I only had one left at the end of the day, so that's a good one and a quick Christmas item. You probably don't want to make too many Christmas items because then you're left with stock if they don't sell. But I will say that the Christmas Dash Hound, I thought that wasn't going to sell. I kind of made it as a bit of like a draw in for people to come into my store because they see something cute and unusual. And it did actually sell in the first hour, and so many people walked past my stall and picked it up and looked at it. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it to sell, and it sold really fast. So yes, if you are going to do some Christmas items, I do recommend those patterns. What else sold really well? People loved the Turtles by Crochet by Jenna, and I sold a few lovies. I think they're called lovies or snugglers, which people loved because they didn't have the safety eyes on them, and that makes them really good for babies and toddlers. I'm just trying to think of some more patterns. The Loaf Cats by Annie Caraway Art did really well because people just love cats, and they are super cute with their little sticking out tails. And also the birds, the Itty Bitty Birds by Crochet Me Zaddy did really well as well. I'm going to need to restock those. And yeah, those are the patterns that I highly recommend you consider looking at. With markets, there are like some staples that everyone seems to do for markets, like the Mushy Boys, Leggy Frogs, and things like that. And I made things that I really loved. I tried to I tried to do those things, but with my own twist, if you know what I mean. So I didn't really do leggy frogs, but I did frogs. I did frogs with, also the frogs from the Annie Caraway Art patterns. She's got 2 patterns with frogs in them, the Spooky Friends and the Woodland Friends. I actually added a little cowboy hat to my frogs, which made them a bit unique and fun, and people loved those, and I sold out of those. So that's another pattern for you. But yeah, I would just recommend doing stuff I definitely make small things, lots of small things, and doing things that you really love, because if you don't love an item that you've made and you just make the same thing constantly, I feel like it does kind of translate when you set up your stall, and I don't know, I just think it's important to make things that you love. But yeah, definitely make more smaller stuff. The big stuff does sell, but not as well as the little stuff. Okay, so the next question is, what made you pick this market over others? Why do you think it was so successful? So I have done markets with this vendor before when I was selling macrame, and they were always really, really good. When I first started doing markets with this vendor, they really advertised so well, and they got such a huge turnout. And ever since then, pretty much every market I've done with this vendor has been really fantastic. So if you are looking to do markets in your area, make sure you choose a vendor that does a really good job of advertising and promoting the market, and also make sure that it's like the right vibe for you. For example, if you are selling plushies like I was, you want to make sure that you're doing a market where there's going to be like lots of kids or people who are interested in what you're selling. And make sure it's the right vibe for your product, and make sure they are promoting really well. But I will say though that markets at the moment are a bit hit and miss for most people. This is my first market I've done since May because of that reason. I didn't want to spend heaps of time and then not sell anything. So yes, I think I did get quite lucky on Sunday with that market doing really well, and there being lots of foot traffic, and it's also coming into Christmas. So I think that's why I did well with sales. But yeah, I think sometimes it's also just about trial and error. You can just do a market, see how it goes. I've done a few markets with vendors and it was just not the right fit for me. But I know now what is the right fit for me. Okay, next question is, how did you figure out what to make? What patterns did you choose? So I kind of went through some of the patterns that I used for this market. Did I figure out what to make? I watched a lot of YouTube videos by other people who do markets, and I also just researched online. So I just did a lot of research through social media on what people tend to find sells. But in saying that, as I said before, I tried to avoid selling the things that get sold at most market stalls. So like the mushy boys, instead of doing the mushy boys, I did like a poppet mushy that was a different shape. And then the leggy frogs, even though they're so cute, and I might make them for my next store because they are adorable. I didn't make the leggy frogs. I made frogs with cowboy hats. So if you put a little bit of a fun twist on it and give your own personality into items, I think that it's not only nicer for you having to make bulk of those items, but also they just probably sell better because people can tell if you loved what you made. So yes, that is my answer to that question. Next question is, what was your best seller? I would have to say it's definitely the mystery boxes because people loved those. And it's fun having just like a little relatively inexpensive plushie. I think people love that. They can put it on their desk. And as well as that, just really small items like the chickens, the birds, and the turtles, and what else was there that I had small? The mushroom poppets, and some like octopuses and stuff like that. So yeah, small items do really well. And I'll be interested to see what sells well at my next market, considering that was my first crochet market. But there is the answer for that. Probably the mystery boxes, bestsellers. And last question is things, costs to consider when doing a market for the first time. This is a great question. So I obviously already had quite a bit from my previous markets. But essentials for when you're doing your first ever market, if you're doing an outdoor market, obviously it's marquee. You need to have a marquee. You need to have weights. If I can, it was so windy. If I didn't have weights on my tent, it would have gone. It would have flown away. So definitely have weights. These are things you can just get from Bunnings in Australia or your local hardware store. And you need to have a display, obviously. So 2 to 3 tables. I usually only have 2 tables, but I had 3 tables this time, and I did a kind of like a zigzag layout, which worked really well because people were able to come into the stall and there was plenty of room for everything. I also got stretchy tablecloths to go over my table, and this was my first time using them, and I wish I'd used them the whole, like every market. So I'll make sure to put a link to those in my description. What else? You need a Square Reader, which is how you accept card payments. And the majority of my sales are in card payments. But also have a float of $5 and $10 notes and coins if you're pricing your items where there will need to be change in coins. What else? You need to make sure you bring food and water. I will say that I did bring water, but I forgot to bring some food for myself, and I also get a bit nervous at markets, and I didn't eat until 3 p.m., which resulted in me not being well the next day. So make sure you eat at markets. That's super important. And yeah, I also brought a project to crochet whilst I was standing in my stall, and I think that drew people into, because they were interested in what I was doing and they could see that I was the one that made the items. What else do you need to have? I mean, it's not essential, and it's something that you can build up on as you do more markets, but having a good display, so having baskets for things to go in, and also adding a bit of height to your table display is really good, because it just adds a bit of interest and is just nicer to look at for customers. And then I had little chalkboard signs for pricing for things like the chickens and the ducks and stuff, where there were multiple of those items, so that people could clearly see what the price was. And yeah, people like to be able to see the price instead of having to ask you how much things are. I did individually price a lot of my items, and I put the price on a yellow sticker on the tag, so it was easy to find. But yeah, I think that is all of the essentials you need for a market if you're doing a market for the first time. If you are someone who's done lots of markets and you have more recommendations, make sure to add them in the comments so that other people can read them if they are planning on doing markets. But yeah, and definitely just go and enjoy it and give it a go. And if you don't make much money, that's okay, because it's all about experience. It's not just about sales. It's also about connecting with other people in your community and also meeting other stall holders. And yeah, it's just about experience. So having that kind of attitude when you go and do your first market is great as well. So that is a bit of a sum up of my experience with the market. It went really well and I'm so happy, and I hope that you got some information that was useful for you and you just enjoyed seeing me do the market. I have another market in a week's time that I'm planning on doing another vlog for as well. So make sure you are subscribed so you can see that video. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give this video a like if you did enjoy it, and I will see you in the next video.